Track Wrestling here, Waterloo, Iowa, National Wrestling Hall of Fame Dan Gable Museum with Kyle Klingman of the Gable Museum. Grand opening tonight, $1.4 million renovation project. It's been since what, last fall that this place has been closed, reopened tonight. Let's take a little tour around this place. This place is awesome. It's immaculate now.
Proud to give you this tour, and it really starts coming through the doors because you're going to see something new. This is a new display that we have in the lobby. This was really well thought out what we want to do here. Of course, Gable. This is the Gable Museum in Waterloo, Iowa. This is where he was born and raised. And then we have three images here that represent a wide swath of the sport. Helen Maroulis, the first Olympic wrestling champion from the United States in women's wrestling. Dramil Byers, maybe the most prolific Greco-Roman wrestler ever. He was a world champion and then the only Greco wrestler to be in a world championship team. And then Kurt Angle represents the pro. He was a two-time world and Olympic champion as well. So this really sets the tone for what we want to do in the museum. Those who have been here before remember that the desk would have been right here and we would have ran right into it, but it's switched around where we have it so you can see people come right into the museum. New flooring, new style of gift shop here. We have a little library out front of the museum, so have a partial height wall so you can see right into the gift shop. So we're proud of that. This really sets the tone again for what we wanted to do. We wanted technology, and so this is a kiosk. Of course, we're with the National Wrestling Hall of Fame, so you can see different inductees. You can pick a class year, pick out 2007. Here's who went in, Barry Davis, who we know well. There's his profile, and so you can just have fun with this about different award winners, and then you can even go back to awards. You have the distinguished member, and then class year. You can pick how you want, and distinguished member, Medal of Courage. Different people that have done different things. Matt Hamill was a deaf wrestler, but was a three-time national champion in Division III. So great way to just learn some history and get some information about the hall right away. Across there, our donor recognition board. So anyone that's given a substantial gift is on that donor recognition board. So scrolling through, you can see the amounts and the different people that have contributed to our organization. And then Andy, this is just a treasure trove of information and artifacts coming through here. This is our Glenn Brand Wrestling Hall of Fame of Iowa. We have state championship trophy from West Waterloo High School in 1966. Dan
Gable's senior year, right?
It was, you got it right. Probably my favorite bracket, and I'll just stop on this. This is Jim Gibbons' 1981 NCAA championship bracket that he won as the 6th seed. So there's a few interesting things here. Jim Gibbons is not marked as seeded, although he was the 6th seed, had a pigtail match. But some cool things here. This is the year Randy Lewis snapped his elbow in the dual meet against Jim Gibbons. So he got beat by Gibbons here, came down, got pinned by Delegata, got his elbow hurt. And then what's interesting is there was a double forfeit. So this is maybe the only year that they did not give an 8th place finish. So Lewis got 7th. This is interesting because Gallagher and Fritz were actually at 142. Ken Gallagher is from UNI. Bernie Fritz is from Penn State. They actually wrestled at 142, so they put this on the wrong space in the bracket. So that's an interesting part. And then you just look at the history here with Jim Gibbons winning it. It's his only national championship. So love this bracket. It tells a great story, and you see the different writing here. It's a lot different than what you'd see today with the printed bracket. So whoever had the handwriting there, kudos, because it's very beautiful.
And if I'm not mistaken, listen on to Matt, that's one that when we talked about the best brackets of all time, that was one of your favorite brackets, right?
One of my favorite brackets, one of the tournaments that I've been very enamored with, because I just think there's a lot of guys that were high quality opponents. But I think as we've talked, Andy, I'm still giving 08. I think we've made enough.
08, 149 pounds.
Yeah, 08, 149. I still think that's the number one. I'm going to put that in the top tier. That's probably in the top 3, but I think we made a case that 08, 149 is still the number one bracket. Down Bosco, Lisbon, if you live in Iowa, you know that. This is Mac Ryder's 4-time state champion. That's his singlet. This was Scott Morningstar's singlet at Lisbon. They're great rivals, so we wanted to put those guys side by side. Mark Ironside's shoes and headgear right here. That's from 1998. This is really cool. This is Bob Steenledge, was the first 4-time state champion in Iowa high school history. That's his bracket that his mom wrote in, and then his 4 medals right there. Bobby Douglas's bag is right down here. We'll have to get a fanny pack to make sure we recognize him correctly. Wartburg has a great tradition. There's Jim Miller, the architect of that tradition. This is interesting because we asked Jim Zaleski if we could have something, so he was just in his office, and he just said, here you go. And so this is actually a Sears University of Iowa trophy from the 2000 season. He just gave it to us. So here we have this trophy here, and I don't know what it represents, but Sears gave University of Iowa a trophy in 2000, and I think that was the one of the few years that Iowa went undefeated that year. So that's a pretty cool year. So that was the last one they won until Tom Brands came around in 2008. Kiosk here that you can look at the Glenn Brand or the Allen and Gloria Rice Greco-Roman Hall of Champions, so you can go back and forth and learn the history through that and our inductees. And just a wide swath of information. Jermeel Byers that we mentioned, there's his Army jacket. You can see him there. This is a great story here because this is Steve Frazier's singlet, and it actually got ripped in a match. And so the guy that he was wrestling, Steve Frazier, is our first Greco-Roman Olympic champion. He won it in 1984. That singlet got ripped because the guy was behind, and so the guy was trying to get Steve disqualified because he was so tired, so he tried to go through illegal measures, ripped his singlet. There's a great picture of him, looking like, what's he doing here? And so that's his singlet there. You can still see the rip there. You still have a little thread there, but there's the rip. Jim Raschke's shoes, and there's a award from him. Jeff Blatnick, the other Olympic champion from 1984. There's his shoes and some artifacts there. And then just different images up here too. There's Dan Hodge over there, Andy. We just had KJ on the mat here recently, so there's an image of Kevin Jackson. There's Randy Couture knocking someone's lights out, so we have some mixed martial arts flavor here.
2014 World Team right here, men's freestyle world team.
Yep, signed by all those guys. So some pretty cool stuff. And then in this area here, this is all the Dan Gable area. So we have collegiate, we have high school, we have coaching legacy, we have world and Olympic championships, and then we have a range of stuff that is encompassing of Gable's career.
We're upside down right now, so
Yeah.
flip it around here.
I mean, and look at this, Andy. Look at these shoes. That's his 1972 Munich Olympic shoes that he wore. And you talk about technology changing. That's a pretty far cry to what we have today for technology with shoes, with Rudis making stuff, and Asics, and Adidas, and Nike now. That's what they wore back in the day for wrestling matches.
What brand are these?
I don't even know. Maybe it was a medalist brand at the time.
A little wear and tear on those things.
That's got a little wear and tear, you're right. And then the Tbilisi tournament, some say it was the toughest tournament in the world, even tougher than the Olympics. He won the Outstanding Wrestler Award, so there's his dagger that he got from that. And a great picture of Gable in the backdrop. So all the Gable area here. I'll just point this out. This is a timeline tunnel here, just some historical moments in wrestling history. Probably the one that people current day will remember the most is the grapple on the gridiron. I don't know where Andy is in the crowd, but he's got to be somewhere in there.
How late in the duel are we here?
Someone's flexing there, so I'm guessing could that be 184?
It might be.
Who would that have been?
It's been Sam Brooks.
Was that Sam Brooks?
He did the big flex.
Yeah, so Sam Brooks,
I'm
guessing.
I'm up here. The
You're way
press
up there?
box. That's where
Okay.
I'm at.
All right,
At that
so
point.
42,287, so a lot of people say there was more. And then we'll just give one more shout out because we don't want this to happen again. 2013, there's the moment when they announced that wrestling was getting back into the Olympic Games. So you see, this is really cool. You got John Smith here, you have Leroy, Kathy Smith, which is now Kathy Perry, and then you have Alex Derringer, you have Colt Newton right there who signed with Oklahoma State, so that's him as a little kid, Zach Esposito, Sam Hazewinkle, and then you look back here, there's a couple dudes with cameras and you wonder why they're not getting excited, but they must be getting ready for the next shot. So I love that image. Dan Hodge, we got to point that out. I hope you got that in the image there because There's Danny Hodge with his wife right there. So really cool. And then,
This board right here.
oh yeah, you
know how
got to do
many-
that, please.
I don't know how many times coming into this place I've just gotten locked in on this board and some amazing stuff. Gable, 355, 21, and 5 in dual meets. Unbelievable. Where's the number? There's one number. This one right here. Big Ten champions. Iowa, 106. Everybody else, 104. Unreal. 1983, Hawkeyes had 9 champs.
Yeah.
Team was amazing. Set the tournament scoring record, I think, 200 points, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yeah, what, 2 losses in the whole tournament, I think? Yeah, I think it was 2 losses, I think.
Rico Ciparelli.
Yeah, they got 4th or 5th.
He got 4th.
They get 4th, okay. So,
National champs during the Gable era, Iowa 45, Oklahoma State second, 25.
yeah.
This one here, NCAA points during that time, 2,536 points, almost 900. Ahead of second place Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then 98-1 Carter Hawkeye dual meet record, so didn't lose much there.
Penn State was the one, right?
When Penn State was the one, 19-18. So of course it still bothers him to this day that he lost that dual meet. And then this is cool because we actually told the University of Iowa that we had this and they had no idea. This is Dan Gable's first Big Ten championship trophy from 1977. So that started the string of 21 straight for him and 25 straight for Iowa, and it has the names there. So we have it here, so that's great to have that on.
Who's that 83 team we were just talking
Yeah,
about?
there you go.
Barry Davis was here tonight.
He was here, and there's Barry Davis's outfit right here. There's his uniform.
Warm
So
up.
you're right on point here, Andy. We got his warm up here, and he wore that. And what's cool, and I'm going to show you this back here. I'm going to wait to tell you that because we got a great Barry Davis story. We got to wait here in a couple minutes. But other cool stuff here. We got the West High scale. We have Kyvan in here. Some cool things that we got on display with his dad. Everyone wonders what the N means. That's Nassau Community College. And we won't take you through everything here, but there's little pockets back here that you get to see. This is more of a historical area here. Just some really cool artifacts here. We have a ticket from the 1930 NCAA championships. We have a Sullivan Award here given to the top amateur athlete, not just the best wrestler. We got Nate Carr's robe here, and then some different pictures of robes there. This is the first Junior Worlds that took place were in 1969. The United States won it, and that's the trophy from the first Junior World Championships right there. This is different AAU trophies. This may be the oldest AAU trophy that we know of. And then,
How old is that?
we can't verify what that is. We've wanted to know what that is, but we think it's the oldest trophy that the AAU has. So
Abe Lincoln?
Abe Lincoln, there's a comic book, Abe Lincoln Wrestling in New Salem, Illinois, right there.
A little high in his stance there.
Yeah, a little high. I know. We got to get on him about that.
I think he wants you to shoot on him, though.
I know. I think he was going to roll you through a little
Cut the
bit.
corner?
Yeah, cut the corner. And then this bad boy, we'll turn on the lights here. This is special, man. So this is our theater. We can seat a ton of people here. And then over here, Andy, this is what we can do. We'll have ability to add to this, but you can hit the screen here and you can go back and watch NCAA tournament matches all the way back to 1937.
Wow.
So you just have different matches here. Now here's the story that I wanted to tell you. So Barry Davis was here today. So there was a crowd watching Barry Davis's match from 1985 against Joe McFarland. So everyone was into it. So I'm watching out of the corner of my eye. So I see Barry Davis sneak back here and he shuts the door. I'm like, I wonder why he would do that. He wanted to make sure the door was shut. So I see him back here and he was pulling up his match and then he shut the door. So I came in to see what he was doing and he was recording the match against Joe McFarland. So he had it on film because he hadn't seen it before. So it's pretty fun to see Barry get fired up about that and get a chance to see his match, which he hadn't seen up to that point. So a lot of fun to have that. So that's a cool thing. We'll hopefully get the World Championships. Now we're going to take you into what really separates us from any other museum. So if you would like to walk through here, here's our brand new wrestling room. And you can see the great quote right there, Andy, once you have wrestled, everything else in life is easy. And then we have Adeline Gray. We have Jordan Burroughs, which I think is your favorite wrestler. Dan Gable, Henry Cejudo. And then if you just want to even come on the mat, we can pan through for you on all the wrestlers we have sublimated. We got to give Resolite a huge shout out because they donated all these mats for the Gable Museum. And we're so appreciative of that. But you got Brock Lesnar. You have Vicky Vortex, aka Victoria Anthony right here. Let's see if you can guess who this is.
That's Tom, right?
No, that's Terry.
That's Terry?
That's Terry. Some people have gotten that wrong. It looks like him, but that's Terry. At least I hope it is. If we can find out what's wrong.
You don't even know.
It's Terry. I did a double check.
Okay, that's Terry and that's Tom.
That's Tom. Great picture here. How awesome is this? I mean, is there a better picture that captures wrestling than this one right here? Dave Schultz against Kenny Monday. You don't even need to know who won that. That just says everything. That captures the essence of the sport. We actually picked this out. We wanted to have Iowa, Northern Iowa, and Iowa State. I decided we want to have the most recent Northern Iowa NCAA champion here. Well,
and then you didn't get Drew Foster.
I know. We got it wrong. So when we made this, the mats came out, we didn't get Drew Foster.
Tony Davis.
We got Tony Davis won it in 2000. So I'm glad we got him up there. Kyvan Gadsden was here. It was cool to have his picture next to it because this is actually probably 10 times bigger than his head. So it just shows you how big that is. Pat Smith, the first 4-time NCAA champion, Division I, and that actually we picked out Victoria Anthony because she was the first female women's champion, so she's the first 4-timer there. Helen Marula is the first women's Olympic gold medalist, and then my man Stephen Neal, 10 years in the pros, and a world champion, didn't play it down of football in college, and here we have him here. So
can you do a rope climb, Kyle?
I could. I don't know if I want to do it for you here in my
in
my outfit, but I certainly could get the job done.
I wish the viewers right now could smell this place. It smells brand new.
Yeah, it's absolutely brand new. So that's the tour. We're super proud of this, and I hope people will come out and appreciate what we have here because this is a special facility. We've already had kids wrestling in here, and we have actually, just if you swing around, Andy, I want to make sure we point this out too. This is really cool because all we have to do is plug a computer in here and we can play anything we want on this flat screen right here. So this is a great learning tool. So let's just say you're having a clinic here and you want to break down Kyle Dake's technique on counters. All you got to do is pull up the match and they can watch it right here and break down the technique. Wow. So we're really proud of this and we're just grateful for all the people that invested in this and just really glad to give you this tour of our new space, and again, Resolite giving us the mats, and so many people giving up their time and talents and financial opportunities to be here and do this.